Hey, what's shaking, bacon? Sláinte.
I'm drinking water today because
Yeah, me too.
to cut
I,
down.
I gotta go back to work. The three
Mm,
martini lunch is way over. I have
yeah.
to tell you, a
Yeah.
friend of mine who trolls me. I don't think she ever subscribes to anything I do, but then she
Yeah.
watches all the shows and all the shorts I do. She texted me the other day and said, "Hey, I love the B&B bar. It's a great idea. How did you come up with that idea?" And I said, I chuckled. I said, "I'm really glad you like it." And I told her, how we came up with the idea and wouldn't it be fun, talk about current events and this and this and share with people who we are. Have you had any feedback on your end? Has any
Same
been
thing. It's a great idea because people open up in bars. They talk in an unrestrained way, and they don't try and sanitize what they say. They're just open, and that's
yeah.
what we're doing. We're freewheeling, and that's a great thing. So yes, positive feedback. Sit in a bar. That's when you have your best conversations. Let's be honest.
I think so. Actually, I signed one of the best, most lucrative television contracts when I was in television, sitting at the bar on a cocktail napkin. And I called over the owner of the bar. It was a French bistro
Yeah.
down in the Flatiron district of Manhattan. And I said, "Bernard," I said, "bear witness to this. We're signing this contract on this piece of paper. Bear witness to this. This is binding and holding." And in the States, it actually is. And it's stated,
Great.
signed by both parties. And I have to tell you, hot diggity dog. It was one of the best deals ever.
Oh, that's fantastic. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of us could trace back encounters in bars to some new beginnings in our lives.
Mm,
It is a place when your guard is down and you're more open with people and they see the more authentic you. Not when they're drunk. I mean, you don't have to be drunk to be authentic,
but
but
true.
the guard comes down and you're more relaxed and there's more humor. And
Right.
humor is something we need in spades at the moment
Oh,
because
totally.
it is a dark place just now. And I was in a bar the other day and I met two people I'd never met before. They were up for the rugby. There were French people and there were some locals. And what a laugh we had.
Mm.
Two from England, two from France, two from Scotland. And we just sat there. It's like we'd known each other for years.
Oh,
After about
that's great.
a minute. And that's a great feeling.
That's wonderful. That's what it should be about, a place where people can gather, whether you're having alcohol or non-alcohol drinks, it doesn't matter. It's all about sharing and getting stories, getting to know one another without the, business, post conference event. Always at the bar is where the best deals are done. Not necessarily at the conference or at the lunch or the breakouts. It's always
Yeah.
at the bar at the end of the day. I remember I was at a conference a couple of years back out in Dana Point, California, and it was about 5:15, 5:30, and I just felt like having something cold to drink. I wasn't even interested in having a cocktail. And there
Yeah.
was a fellow at the bar standing there next to me. I said, "Excuse me, can you grab the bartender? Because I'm short, And
Yeah.
he was tall, and he turned around and he had an Irish brogue. And we got to talking, and we knew all the same people. At the time, I was an advisor to Enterprise Ireland and this and this. But wouldn't you know, we got acquainted, and about 3 or 4 months later, when I was at another conference, I met another fellow, and I said, I
Hmm.
have to introduce you to this other fellow. I think there's a project that you two could start together and make some money. And actually, I used to gain finder's fees from doing this. That's what I did.
Hmm.
And I have to tell you that you never know who you're going to meet at a bar just by saying, "Excuse me, can you get that bartender's attention?" You never know.
Absolutely. And it brings me back to a point I've been making recently. When you learn to talk to strangers, magic can happen because you have these random collisions. And I got one of the biggest contracts I ever got by late night Christmas shopping
Oh,
and Christmas Eve. Two men out shopping on Christmas Eve, all at sea, right?
Wow.
So we each bought what we needed to buy. We retired to a bar just along the road, and I got the biggest contract.
How about that?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
I do think that we must teach people to talk to strangers. Now, I'm not talking about, going up to someone who looks incredibly threatening, who's carrying a gun. I'm talking about just engaging in conversation. And it's extraordinary because there's something fresh in the air. There's no preconceptions at this point. You've just met each other and you're learning about each other, and magical things happen. I mean,
That
apart
is
from relationships.
magical. The clock has run out, and I've got to go. Cinderella here. So I'll talk to you soon. Good seeing you. All
Cheers.
right. All
Cheers,
right.
Kelley.
Cheers.